And me was hoping the Giants would fuck this up like they did in the past, but alas, they used their heads. We lament this loss.
The Carolina Panthers select Ikem Ekwonu, tackle, North Carolina State.
Carolina desperately needed offensive line help in this draft. I figured they'd have gone quarterback here, but when your blindside blocker is Cam Irving, you need all the aid you can get. Ekwonu probably has the most upside of any tackle in this draft, but he's relatively low. He has plenty of size and strength to become a premium tackle in this league, but it'll need time to develop. Kinda tough to do when he'll be expected to be a day one start. For his project status, he should be an immediate upgrade. That's depressing. My question though is at QB. They can't trot out Sam Darnold again, can they? Matt Corral did fall to them in the 3rd round, but he needs time in his own round. They did try for Baker Mayfield, but with Cleveland having no leverage while demanding too much, the trade for him fell through. I think they may just wait for him to be constant.
The New York Giants select Evan Neal, tackle, Alabama.
The Giants are making sensible picks. Can we get Dave Gettleman back? I miss my humor with the NFL draft. Neal was the perfect pick for them to pull to 7 since they need an immediate replacement for Nate Solder. Farrell wooden plank might do better than what Solder's declining skills had done in New York. Neal is probably the most NFL-ready tackle out of this class. Best of all, he's played right tackle in college, so fits immediate need for the Giants. They lament our loss of hilarity, but we can relish in old regrets. Kadarius Toney has demanded a trade out. While he's probably traded for a 5th-round pick, New York went and reached for a wideout in the 2nd round with the skill set of Kadarius Toney. God, the gentleman was so fucking terrible.
The Atlanta Falcons select Drake London. Wide receiver, USC.
Falcons fans may bitch about this pick, but here are some names to consider. Olamide Zaccheaus, Auden Tate, Damiere Byrd, Kadero Hodge. That was Atlanta's wide receiver depth chart before this pick. This may have been a slight reach, but it was a desperate need.
Clark,
Even if Matt Ryan is gone, I can't exaggerate how important it was to make a wideout here.
Extremely
The
important.
offense can't just
Knowing the
beat
other
Kyle
team's
Pitts.
tendencies
London will be
is part
expected
of
to take a
preparing
big
to
roll
beat
out of the
them.
game.
So we
And they'll
see
get
some
plenty
teams
of
who
chances to
swear
do
by
so.
advanced scouting. I mean,
Atlanta's
it's
starting
really
a much
a
needed
pillar
rebuild.
of how they
Time
operate.
is on his side.
They'll use complex
The
defenses,
Seattle
can
Seahawks
spot
select
opponents
Charles
after
Cross,
timeout plays, and
tackle,
really put all of that information. It's
Seattle
about
needs its
data
Wayne Brown
accumulation and then
Cross is the
aggregating
last
that
of the
data
leading
and
man
using
with
it
tackles that are in
effectively
this spot.
to hopefully give
All the
you an
Seahawks are
advantage in
currently
winning
running
the
around
game.
like chickens
Johnson,
with their heads cut
nice
off.
start for
Blindside
him.
tackles
Taking
should
his
be
first
set.
shot.
Second chance points are always painful. Have to make the effort to box out. Hey, guys standing around spectating, I mean, you gotta
Oh,
get in
the
there and
joys
get
of
tough.
keeping Farrell and Schneider
Don't want to
around.
let him get into a
Cross
rhythm
will
from out
hopefully see
there.
better days in his future. Maybe a few years.
Pass to Pirtle.
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver,
To the paint.
Ohio State.
Big-time weapon like Garrett Wilson, the Jets are making a major
The rebound
statement.
by Diallo.
They ride and die with Zach Wilson.
About a minute played here so
Reliable
far in the
wideouts was an
first.
issue for them last season thanks to injuries. and
Now a
underperformance.
timeout called by Detroit. They're coming off that
but
win.
not a true number one. The Jets to have any success moving forward, they'll need weapons to aid their signal
Against
call.
them. But they were able to focus and finish the task at
Should be
hand.
the fix
You
for
know, it
Dr.
takes
Ward.
character, poise, toughness to win on the road, and that's exactly what they showed last game.
He launched that one from way outside. Bryant's got 6.
This is where the
This
fun
right
begins.
here, whew,
Top 10 was run
this
around.
is how you
But
want to
New
play the
Orleans saw a
game.
run on wideouts
Passion,
happening and traded up
energy, just a great hustle
an
play
insurance
right there.
policy for Michael Thomas.
Hurdle
His
with the
position
bucket.
for the Saints
I
is
like
very
Hurdle's
thin
ability
after
to quickly
and it
move to
showed
the
in how
hoop
poorly they
after
fared
the
on
screen.
offense last season.
Again, speaks to his
Thomas
mobility.
will return, but having Olave as a plan B on the
Here's
thing
Bryant
floor is
outside.
absolutely
And the
needed.
Pistons.
You may think
Another
this will bring
three.
about order, but you'd be
Starting to find
mistaken.
his rhythm.
Detroit
He's
Lions
cooking,
select
and he knows it.
Jameson
And you know what? They're going to keep
Williams.
using him. I mean, he'll be the centerpiece of their offense today. You can bank on that.
The only reason
gets it in
Jameson
there.
Williams fell this far in the
Pounding
draft
it
was due
inside
to a torn
early and
ACL.
often, setting a
Advances in medical
rhythm.
technology, it isn't the death sentence for skill positions that it once was.
Bryant
Detroit had to
outside.
pounce on the
Fires from deep.
They
He's
chip off
got
a
it.
relatively
4
modest
for
sum to
4
move
now.
up
He's
20
automatic.
positions to Coach
When you
Williams
let a
from any
team
other
knock
shooter.
down that many
Best thing
threes,
is that
you
Jameson
know you're
will be
likely to
expected
be
to
on
make
the
an
wrong
immediate
side
impact.
of a run.
Explosiveness,
Jones with the ball.
game-changing ability,
Diallo
and
picks him up.
should be a huge addition
On
to
the
their
wing to
passing
Sell.
game. For whomever the future Lions QB is.
Philadelphia Eagles select Jordan Davis.
And there's the drive.
Defensive tackle.
Just 5 on the clock.
3 straight strikeouts.
Here's Jones.
Welcome to
That
chaos.
shot is off. Now the Pistons take it the other way.
Of ammo to play with, and they shut up the boards to make sure they got the next
Bryant, the pass to Bryant.
Jordan Davis is a guy I wanted on
Another
the
three
Steelers.
for Detroit. He's putting on a show this quarter, and the team's feeding off his energy.
San Antonio trailing here.
Great fit for the modern game, but always he's a presence in the middle of the D-line.
First quarter of basketball, just over 2.5 minutes played so far. From deep, Johnson. The rebound by Stewart. Detroit with the ball. They're on a 15-4 run. Here's Bryant. Oh, rejected by Pirtle.
And Pirtle deserves a lot of credit for his shot blocking ability. He's a dynamic and dynamite shot blocker.
Here's the first safety on the board in Kyle Hamilton. Run down drop boards for the reason of not being a super sexy man.
Has been terrific in the first half. They'll be happy with all those assists.
And that's good as he hits both shots.
You know, at this point in his career, Richardson knows his role, understands it, embraces it. He's a 3-and-D guy who gives you great effort at both ends of the court.
Stewart finds Bryant.
Being busted for PEDs and suspended for 6
Hey,
games.
from long range. And he buries his first look.
Oh, I like their energy coming in. Terrific execution so far. And you know, it's an all-out effort they've come in with. Very aggressive offense so far.
And that's a
Same situation as with Dick. Houston has so many holes to fill that anything would be considered reasonable. Kenyon Green may not have been the best interior lineman of this draft, but he checks off a few criteria. Fits the Texans scheme well. Offensive guard is a position
And
of
we're approaching
incredible
about
weakness,
3.5
but
minutes
Green is
played
a
in this
local
first
product
quarter.
From Texas A&M. School shits out offensive linemen like a man after a meal.
Richardson against Bay.
Unless the Texans decide
6
to
on the
beat the
shot clock.
Texans, he should be all right. It's hard to fuck up these kind of things.
Here's Vassell.
It's been a struggle for them to get anything to fall. Boy, you've got to give credit to the defense. I mean, this is where you want to really work for quality looks. Got to get that confidence back.
Lets it go from 14.
Against
Bryant
Jahan
with a
Dodson, I
steal.
liked a lot of what I saw out of him at Penn State, but why not just take a Olave?
Pass to Bay.
Dodson better
Over
compliment Terry
Pirtle. Oh,
McLaurin.
rejected by
Still
Pirtle.
a commie long term. Need some plan B in case everything goes to shit.
Johnson against
By
Diallo.
everything going to shit, I mean Dan Snyder trying to pull a fast one on not only the
Here's
IRS,
Vassell.
but the NFL owners themselves.
There's the
Led
trouble.
to pulling an Arthur Anderson
And
and
Bay
having
pulls it
separate
down.
accounting books.
The Pistons have got 6 of 8 shots to go.
Well, you look
I
at it, a
will
nice
publicly
combination
celebrate
of
his demise
size
like it
and
should have been done
ability.
20 years ago.
That's his first personal
Bringing energy and taking up space at both ends of the floor. And I love
Chargers were
his
rumored to be
hands
gunning for a
as
wide
the
outside
offensive
another
and
weapon in
defensive
their
end.
offense, but
You know,
most
Clark,
of
on
the
a
really good
permanent
ones
basis,
were long gone.
Pirtle's shot blocking and
Move on
rebounding
to the
are
next
near
big
elite.
They really are, BA, and it's hard for the average fan to pick up on that. But his game is not flashy. It's all
Cotton LA team is
substance.
trying their best
He's
to
got
protect their
excellent
prize
timing
quarterback.
at the
I don't
defensive
blame
end
them.
and catches
It's
just about
always wise to
everything
do
at the offensive
In this
end.
case, Johnson
So
could be an
far,
immediate
they're
asset.
owning both ends of the floor. We'll see if they can keep this going. And you know, nothing like getting an opponent on the ropes early. You love that.
So you may be
You're
asking
on that
yourself,
side of the scoreboard, and
how
they
the
are
hell is the
landing
Titans
some
selecting here,
haymakers
and
now.
why the
They
fuck are
just
they drafting
cannot
a wide
buy a
receiver?
bucket, guys.
Well,
I tell
if
you
you want
what,
that
that's a
answer, I hope
painful
you're ready to
quarter
take
for
in
him,
some
and it's
radiation.
painful for me to
A.J.
watch,
Brown
too.
is gone. Tennessee couldn't agree to terms on the new contract,
Hey,
so he
look at
gives Greener back.
Making it look
Figuratively
easy, dropping the hammer down on the
He's
defense.
now an eagle.
And Bryant, here we go.
Hopefully soar high in an
rejected
offense
by
led by
Pirtle.
Jalen Hurts. AJ's going to be paid like it regardless.
Up top, Johnson.
Four-year,
Outside
$100
Jones.
million contract worth $57 million
Pass to Vassell.
guaranteed.
Elbow
Daniel
shot.
sitting on the couch fuming at
And Bay
everyone else
pulls
getting
it
paid
down.
besides
Yeah,
him.
just a little
Jalen
off his
Hurts has
game
some
this quarter.
ridiculously
He's trying
sized
to
shoes
work
to
his
fill when
way
Brown gone.
into a rhythm.
Traylon, you're entering a team
On
desperate
the
to get to
take.
the Super Bowl with questions at quarterback while shedding talents at wideout and tight end over the past few seasons.
Bryant outside.
You drive the rewards.
Offensive board. Bay
You'll
passes to
unfairly become
Bryant.
the whipping boy of an entire
And
fan
Josh
base.
Richardson
I
gets
don't
the
envy
whistle
the
that
pressure he's
time.
going to be under.
That's his first foul.
That's his first personal foul. Second team foul.
Here's Bryant. In the game against Miami, very impressive.
What a finish. I mean, he just took over himself.
What a show of power right there from the point guard. Man, sweet.
I think it's
You know,
still
guys,
wrong,
when
but
your
an
point guard is
absolute
making
behemoth.
explosive plays at
They
the rim,
develop it properly.
I
New
really do
Orleans will
think
all
it
but
sets the
forget the
tone
contributions
for
to
the
the
rest
Rocks
of the
there.
team.
Best
When
running
they
backs
get
are
their
those that have a great
opportunity
line
to
to run
punch it
behind, don't you
inside,
know?
they
Also, here's the Honey Badgers with help for a secondary
Down.
game with affection. He's Coming home, New Orleans.
That type of finish
Be ready.
is just deflating right now for a team that's trying to make a comeback. Ouch.
That's certainly a big-time finish right there. It was one big exclamation point, or maybe even a question mark.
Successor to the
Hey
leader
guys,
of men.
I know there are a
The
lot of
Indians are in
questions.
all of us swelled with pride.
That's
40
his
years
first
ago, the
personal
Steelers
foul.
passed on Dan Marino in the first round to select Senor Saturday Rivera. And they hope to rectify that mistake, even if Pickett is nowhere near Marino's caliber. And they hope to rectify that.
Walker in for Jones. And that one goes in. 2 from the line that time.
Even if Pickett your Saturday Rivera. They hope
And
to
here's
rectify
Bryant.
that mistake.
He's got 24.
Even if Pickett is nowhere near Marino's caliber. I can hear the derision
Pass
about
to
this
Bay.
pick from all
Bagley
across
with it.
football.
His hands are tiny. He played
Bryant
in a weak
outside. He takes it in.
He's working
And
a
Somerset
fence
with it.
yeah.
You know what I think about all of that? You can
Expansion.
suck my
Man, is that something you'd
Like
like to see?
expected to start immediately,
Mind
but
that
once
at
he
all.
does,
I mean, it just
we know
speaks
the
to
Steelers are
league
going to the Super
continuing
Bowl.
to be popular
At
and
least they might.
continuing to grow.
This also includes drafting a wide receiver with character issues in the second
There may be a
round.
hefty expansion
George
fee,
Pickens
but
will become a
there's
Pro
some
Bowler that
great
will run
markets
himself
out
out of
there
town
that
in
love
5
the game
years.
of basketball and
It's
would
set in
really
stone.
embrace a team. You know, one city that comes to mind, Seattle. So maybe it'll happen. I'm hoping it does.
Each need an immediate
here's
replacement
Bryant.
for the departing
26
Tavares
points for him.
This trade up and pick is
They grab their
fully
own
the answer
miss.
to those goals. To be fair, they have more
Outside
than enough
Bagley.
holes to fill
Beyond
with the
the
departure
arc.
of Tyreek Hill.
Pure
But
from
Dumpy falling
three-point
this far, they'd be
range.
foolish to pass on him.
And the Pistons
Desire
lead
for
by
secondary help is
16.
immediate.
Wow.
He's in
Some
that second tier
strong
cornerback
perimeter
beside
shooting
Gardner
here
and
in the
Stingley.
first quarter.
Kansas City
How do
had
you
no
stop
choice
this?
here.
I mean, it
The
seems
AFC
like
West
they
is in
can't
high
miss.
demand for elite corners.
Here's Primo. Looking at the numbers, he's putting up 7 points a game.
Wayne Walker, linebacker, Georgia.
Green Bay.
Shot
Are
clock
you
at 5.
okay?
The 3 is
Desperate
up.
holes at edge and wide receiver, and you pick an
Rebound by
inside
Olynyk.
linebacker?
The way
That's
they've
not
gotten
Devin
after
Lloyd.
rebounds has
Walker
been
is upside,
impressive.
don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, but it
sensational is a
strikes me
really
as a
good
pick for
word
the
for it.
future when the
They're
Packers
tearing
need
it
to
up on the
desperately
glass.
fill immediate needs.
I
They did
tell
the
you,
same kind
a
of
little
shit back in
extra
2020
pressure
and
on
look
D
what
when
ended
you're
up
up
happening
against a
to
point
them.
guard who can
I
elevate.
know the White House would have
It
been a
doesn't
reach
make it
here, but
easy,
you
does
need
it?
to do
And
something
guys
about it.
showing how
For the
dynamic
love
a
of
weapon
God.
he is for this
The Buffalo
offense.
Bills
They
select
feed off of that energy and
Jair
ability to make
Miller.
plays. It gets them going.
Defensive
So
back,
it's San Antonio now,
So the
following
biggest
the score
concern
by
for Buffalo
Detroit.
coming into the
And
draft was
stolen by
at
Bay.
Not just with Levi
Bryant
Wallace
from
leaving,
deep
but let's
three-point
not forget
land.
how they lost in the
The
playoffs.
rebound by the Spurs.
Up 2 big plays within 13 seconds.
McDermott,
That
the
trauma
pass to
needs to be
Walker.
addressed. Kyrie Elam is hopefully the answer to rectifying
Primo.
such woes. Tre'Davious White coming back from injury, having
Pass to
someone to
McDermott.
alleviate
Just stop
pressure
the
in pass
run.
defense is paramount.
The Pistons clear it.
Elam be it.
Bay's got a rebound,
Last
number
corner they
5
drafted
here
in the late
tonight.
first worked out well. It was only
On the
Tre'Davious
wing,
White.
Bay. This one for
Beats
3.
Omen.
the Dallas
Bates Diop
Cowboys
with the
select
rebound. And for the
Tyler
Spurs,
Smith.
they're shooting 33% in the first quarter.
Harry Jones couldn't get his precious cape on. So that means they have to
That one
ignore
doesn't
edge
drop.
rusher in the
Oh,
first round
Lennox with some
altogether.
nice D.
St. Johnson not good enough
It's
for you?
Bryant with a
I
drive.
have a feeling why
And
they
then
picked
Bryant
tackle
with
here,
the
though.
dunk.
Replaced by
How
Collins on the
about
right-hand
the
side, or
bounce?
as a cheaper replacement for Tyron Smith when he's eventually gone. I mean, come on, it's a tackle named T. Smith. Even has the discipline issues the Cowboys were known for last season. Close enough, right? As traditional as Dallas picking incredibly talented players with off-field issues. Did just that in the second round. Ironically, an edge
Detroit has
rusher.
gone 7 of 13 from downtown so far in this game, setting the floor for the Pistons. Bay and Grant make up the forward pair.
Steelers fan,
Then
I
it's Amadou
fucking
Diallo,
hate this.
and it's Bryant in at the point
Ravens
guard
fan,
position.
I fucking love it.
Getting up and then throwing it
And arguably
down.
the most
Oh, that
talented
was a big hammer right there. Boy, the guys on the bench loving every minute of that one.
Regardless of
My
how they
guy,
got this
Big
first, it
Daddy
couldn't
in
have
their
worked
last
out
game
more
against the Heat
perfect.
got the job done.
Even
He
managed
dropped
to
an
snag David
amazing
Ojabo
number
in the
of
second
points and
round.
also did a lot of
Despite his
damage from
devastating
long.
injury,
His
allowing
stat
him
line
to
was
gestate the
unreal.
Ravens system should make him a
Impossible
shit
to
record that
repeat?
terrorizes
I
the
don't
AFC
know.
North.
Coming off of that
This is what
performance,
Baltimore tends
you
to do
tell
with
me,
defenders.
guys.
Thanks,
Well,
Alex.
that's
That's
He was
good to
a
draft.
one-man show in that one, Grant.
Yeah, he was not going to let them lose that game. We'll
Linebacker,
see if he comes in with that
We
same
live in a world
mentality
where the
tonight.
Jets
Yeah,
and the
you know, every night's
Giants are
different.
making sound
They
draft
may try to
decisions.
double him.
This is how we
Might
know
force
COVID
him
fucked
to
everything up.
adjust.
Jermaine
Or
Johnson
force
was
him to
looked at
make
as a
plays
potential
with the
top 10
pass
pick before the
instead.
draft by
We'll see.
shooting up mock
And then
bull.
Bryant with the
Raw
dunk.
talent and elite
Balanced
upside. There's a
play
lot
has
you can
given
do
them the
with
lead
it.
and also
The Jets
quieted
do
this
need
crowd.
help, and
Yeah, you said the key
throw a
word
lawsuit
there,
returning from
balanced.
injury.
I mean, their big
There's an
lead
odd feeling
owes
that
as
the
much to
Buffalo
their
wouldn't fumble
defense
this
as their
draft.
offense.
Joe Douglas has been making very sound decisions, especially come
Pass
draft
to
time.
Vassell.
Plans will rely on Zach Wilson and Mekhi Becton stay
6 to shoot.
and it'd be done. That's for time to
And it's
decide.
Richardson penetrating.
Jacksonville
Shoots over
Jaguars
Bay.
select
Misses off the
Devin
left
Lloyd.
iron.
They've shown the power inside. Their rebounding effort has been sensational.
Guys,
that's putting it
Kevin
mildly.
Lloyd was the best available inside linebacker when they
dominant.
traded up and should do well in their new system.
And here's Bryant outside.
Hopefully won't
Drains
suffer
the
the same fate
triple.
as many other excellent
Bryant's
prospects
got
that run through the
37.
game.
Well,
Regardless of
demanding
pessimism,
the
his
ball.
impact should
He
be
wants
immediate.
it, and he's coming through.
The
I
Jets
mean,
can't be
you
as
can see why his
embarrassingly awful as they
teammates
were
trust
last
him
season.
down the stretch, guys.
Can they?
The Green Bay Packers select Devontae
2 minutes now
Wyatt,
played in the second
defensive
quarter.
tackle,
And the
Georgia.
Pistons, another
Green Bay
three.
chooses to activate
All
no wide
game long.
receiver again. Here's a display. Devontae Wyatt does fill a need for them to actively relieve Kenny Clark as a 3-tech. Wyatt should be a damn good player for the Packers. However, with this pick, they're once again ignoring the gigantic element of the room. I know you can argue Aaron Rodgers can throw to anyone, but Darren Waller rumors a few weeks ago haven't had any smoke. I can say they at least did
The
something.
Spurs have got
They
none of
do,
their
they
first
traded up
three
for
shots to
Christian
fall so
Watson.
far in the
Expected
second.
to be shot right off the bat.
Jones
Packers
drives
are really
in
good at prolonging
to
agony,
the
aren't
wing
they?
on the left.
You should know from how they
Inside.
play in January.
They double it with Bryant.
The New England
Johnson passes to
Patriots
Pirtle.
select Cole Green, guard,
Pirtle with a screen on Bryant. Going
Guard out
inside.
of Jeff Negro wasn't expected to go
Jones
anywhere
misses.
near this
Yeah,
position.
that's another
You would
miss for
want a
him.
bunch
They're
of first-round
behind in
mock
this
draft
game
using this
largely
guy with some
because he
mass-generated
shot so
player with
poorly.
mobile development.
Diallo outside.
To anyone who
Back
knows
to
the
Bryant.
Patriots, it's a vintage Bill Belichick bet. Guy who feels if he fits the team's scheme fit, it will somehow be a Pro Bowler despite the colossal
That
reach.
shot off the mark.
shouldn't
San
question the
Antonio
hoodie.
goes the other way with it.
Whatever reason,
They'll
it will
face the
somehow
Jazz
work out.
after this game.
Kansas
That'll
City
be at home,
Chiefs select
and that'll put them halfway
George
through a three-game
Karlaftis.
homestand. And it's good for two. Pirtle's got 6
Kansas City
points.
needed a
Really
counterpart to
amazing
Frank
body
Clark at the
control
edge.
by Pirtle. Just
While
taking the
Karlaftis
hit
isn't the
head on
sexiest edge
and
prospect out
finishing
there,
through
he's
the
able to get
contact.
to the
I love it.
quarterback.
Oh, stolen
One
by
of the most critical
Richardson.
skills of the modern NFL. Boilermaker will be expected to make an immediate
Here's Vassell,
impact.
covered by
AFC
Diallo.
West has become a bloodbath,
Right
and
side,
the Chiefs
Jones.
need to maintain superiority. Good luck, George.
Back to Vassell.
the
Pass to
AFC
Jones.
champion Cincinnati Bengals select Jackson Hill, defensive back.
And so he draws the
Michigan.
foul. And they want a second.
The Bengals see
That's his first personal foul. First team foul.
the replacement for Jesse
The
Bates.
line for
I can
San
envision him as
Antonio.
equal.
Trey
Cincinnati
Jones.
did need secondary help.
At the line for two.
Once again, Eli Apple is starting for them.
thing this
Those are
does
things
for a
personal,
coach
so we
is
should
let his
upset
players
you more
know he's
ways
got
than
their
one.
back.
Either
If
way,
they're
don't make
adamant
this hard
that
on yourselves, Bengals. Take Jesse Bates and leave it at that.
The Minnesota Vikings select
and they've made their decision, the call
The
will
shot attempt
defensive
does
back
not count.
Georgia.
This is the Vikings. Why did he drop down? Didn't even get that good of a time. The Lions were dropping. That's just take McDuffie or Hamilton for you. I like dropping down and accruing picks when necessary, but not when the return is this meager. Not to say that Lewisine isn't a priority selection for the Vikings. Their secondary was atrocious last year. And those cornerbacks falling to injury and aging Harrison Smith an embarrassing loss after embarrassing loss haunted them. They needed this one. All I hope is that Scene does better than the last secondary player they picked in the first round. They don't speak of Jeff Gladney here. As you may have noticed, there were many teams that didn't have selections in the first round this season. More than a few teams double and sometimes triple dipped with the first 32 picks. It's the newest trend. Rams won a Super Bowl
That's
by
also
throwing the
good,
future to
so
the
he
wind,
hits
and
both
more
free
than a few teams followed suit. Glaring right at the Browns, Broncos, Raiders, and Dolphins. The Eagles had 3 first-round picks and traded all but one of them away. Others, like the Bears and 49ers, traded their picks last season. Even then, there are still many questions that need answered. What happens with Deebo Samuel? He wants paid, but San Fran is holding firm in their demands. What about Jimmy Jesus? Is he staying put? Baker Mayfield's saga is only getting worse and worse, especially after the rumored Carolina deal fell through. There are plenty of free agents still available for the taking. Not to mention new holes that have filled. I'm looking right at Arizona. The heavy part of the NFL offseason may be over, but there's still plenty that needs to shake out. For now, however, we enjoy one last segment from the 2022 NFL Draft.
In my hands, I hold the most important pick of this entire round. Because this pick is the only pick who will win the Super Bowl in his rookie year. With the 89th pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Super Bowl 57 champion Buffalo Bills select my man, Terrell Bernard, linebacker, Baylor. Wow!
This video is proudly sponsored by DraftKings. I know this is a football video and I'll be cast to hell for talking about anything else, but I have to acknowledge that the NBA playoffs are about to get underway. You may be asking, why mention this? It's because DraftKings has an interesting opportunity available to you. We're nearing the play-in tournament. DraftKings is offering new players a shot to get $150 in free bets instantly with just a $5 bet. No matter who you pick, you win. Things get even spicier with the Happy Hour Super Boost. Every day from 4 to 7 p.m. there are new odds boosts that make certain bets more enticing. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state, you can still take part in DraftKings daily fantasy contests, where millions of dollars in prizes are up for grabs throughout the playoffs. You know what to do from here. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code UTREE. Put down $5 on any basketball team and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's code UTREE at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. But enough about basketball. On to the main presentation. I did this kind of video last year with the 2016 NFL Draft and liked doing it. So why not try this again with the first NFL Draft vid I did? It's like looking back on baby's first rambling. The 2017 NFL Draft will go in history as an interesting one, mostly because of a combination of tremendous fortune and costly mistakes made by several teams. It helped to shape the future of football as we know it. And since it's been a half-decade since this draft, we can properly assess the damage. Let's take a look at the first round for ourselves.
With the first pick in the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Myles Garrett, defensive end, Texas A&M.
I remember when it was rumored that the Browns were thinking about picking Mitch Trubisky here. That would have been a big mistake, wouldn't it? A lot better to go with a shit-wrecking defensive end, multi-time All-Pro, and danker of a defense. All I ask is, for the love of God, keep him away from Mason Rudolph. And especially keep him away from his helmet. Considering that's the only blemish on his record, I think this pick worked out.
The Chicago Bears select Mitchell Trubisky, quarterback, North Carolina.
Hello. Behold the pick that near single-handedly set a franchise back years and ended up getting Ryan Pace fired. The Bears panicked. They traded several mid-round picks to move up one position to reach on a quarterback that was seen as a project at best. It was terrible from the moment it was even announced. Nothing against Trubisky, but he should have never been picked this high. He jumped up the draft board from a late first to a potential number one for no reason whatsoever within a matter of weeks, exemplifying how much teams tend to overthink things when they have too much time on their hands. Chicago was the worst place Mitch could have gone. He was rushed and ruined thanks to a primitive scheme and lack of support. No arguments in the world could have justified picking Trubisky here. The pick was Deshaun Watson. It was always Deshaun. Don't say Mahomes, he would have been ruined here with how shitty the Bears are. Even with Watson's misdeeds, he'd have lasted more than 4 years. It gets even worse as well. Do you know who was selected with those mid-round picks they traded? Alvin Kamara and Fred Warner. This trade won't only go down as a disaster, it'll be seen as one of the worst draft day deals of all time.
The San Francisco 49ers select Solomon Thomas, defensive end, Stanford.
I'd like to think that San Francisco was laughing so hard at the Bears that they forgot to develop their own player with this pick. Thomas got caught up in a logjam in the Niners' defensive front and never came into his own. He's now a backup for the Raiders. He did have a big injury in 2020, but he didn't do all that much before that. At least you got Fred Warner out of the trade, San Fran?
The Jacksonville Jaguars select Leonard Fournette, LSU.
The Pistons on offense.
Yeah, that outstanding rookie.
They're on a 12-4 run. And Bryant, here we go. And then Bryant with the dunk.
Come on now, guys. That's flat out insane.
Hey, when's the last time you saw a jam like that?
And guys, it's going to be a long time before we see another one just like that.
Back to being a feature back. And he's won a ring.
Here's
but
Vassell, covered by Diallo.
Wonder what he could have been.
Pass to Jones.
You're having a strong career, but this grade isn't about you.
Over Bryant.
Jackson.
And once again, off the mark by San Antonio. For Detroit, they've gotten 6 of their 7 shots to go in the second quarter. And then Bryant with the dunk.
He's officially taken over this first half, making all the right reads.
How dare
For
they
San Antonio, they've gone 1 for 6 in the second quarter. Not great.
The good news is that Davis's talent is translated to the NFL
Here's
game.
Vassell.
The bad is that he was muscled out of headliner status by other wideouts, and mainly A.J. Brown.
Back to Jones.
Well, he's a solid wideout, but his numbers don't
To the middle.
scream big
Here's
overall
Johnson.
fit.
He got a piece
Get
of
a
it.
good payday from the Jets to the Cardinals. But then you still expect
Bryant
more out of this
outside.
kind of pedigree.
The 3.
He'll have a long
And
career,
the
but you
Pistons,
still feel
another
satisfied.
3.
They've been pretty lax with their perimeter defense, giving up a lot of three-pointers. And their defensive rotations have been non-existent.
LSU, best in the nation.
Johnson
I know it
against
was a tribute
Grant.
to an old friend of his, but the memes are what
Back to
fueled this
Richardson.
godforsaken champ. One of the best safeties of
Hurdle
his
with a
class.
screen
There
on
are
Bay.
certain opportunities that are open as a result.
Down low. Here's Jones. Got it. Good job in the low post. Jones has got his second basket on the night.
Yeah, Josh Richardson is just not a scorer and defender, folks. He can pass it, too.
Oh, got that bucket in no time at all.
This defense is getting spaced out. The last 5 buckets have come from way beyond the arc.
Maybe his trade value is the best in the nation.
Now here's Jones. Not a lot of room.
The Los Angeles Chargers select
Here's Vassell.
wide receiver.
The Spurs rebound.
Mike
Pirtle.
Williams were on any other team
And Johnson
besides
gets
the
it to go
Chargers.
on the assist by Pirtle.
When Pirtle sees a guy on his team open, he finds him right away, whipping that pass there directly.
And then Bryant with the dunk.
They've been the more poised team tonight, and the score reflects that. Well, I like the way they're playing. A very smart first half, quality shots, not wasting
There's a reason
possession.
why the inferior LA team paid him well once he hit the open
Richardson, the
target.
pass to Johnson.
Because they need him for their attack. Could say he hasn't reached his full potential, but he's come damn close.
It's blocked.
Superb focus from Grant that time defensively.
Christian McCaffrey is an outstanding running back who forces defenses to change up their schemes to try and stop him. His first few years helped Carolina to resurge on the center stage and give life to a dying era. However, that was short-lived. Mostly due to a horrifying
Here's
curse that was
Richardson.
inflicted on him.
He had a 15-point outing in their last game against the Lakers. Shot clock at 2.
And what's surprising, during the second quarter, he hasn't really looked like himself.
Great question for Carolina.
Bryant, the pass to
Damn
Grant.
good player, but is he
And
worth
here's
the price
Bryant.
of admission these days? I'd say yes, but the Panthers are a complete mess right now, so I
Pass
just
to
think
Stewart.
freedom by
Gets
being
stolen by
straight
Pirtle.
will right
Picking
now.
up his second foul here has to be careful because they can pile up quickly.
Collins, he's checked in for San Antonio. Walker comes in for Jones. San Antonio's going 0 for 3 from deep to begin the second.
Legitimate issues on the team and focus on the second
Drive by
pick
Walker.
was a luxury. Didn't help whatsoever that John
It's
Ross
Walker
failed
on the
to
wing.
adapt to the NFL at all. The most notable things of his career were Lewis ripping him
Johnson
for a lack of
against Bryant.
production and being
Goes
injured
back
when
up.
practicing as a
Johnson
special
with a
team
bucket.
cornerback.
Johnson's got 4 points in the quarter.
You want to run your offense through him, a reliable scoring option.
You don't draft that with a top 10 pick. No wonder why.
Bryant against Walker. The fader. They get it back. Stewart. And finished off by Stewart.
Oh, nothing soft about that.
Was not going to be denied. Just took the dunk that was right in front of him.
Well, you know, if nobody's going to put a body on him, then that's going to be the result.
Collins with a screen on Bay. Here's Richardson. Played it in with a nice touch off the window. Richardson's got 8.
They just look so overwhelmed inside. That's why they continue to get attacked. Yeah, I think they've got to ramp up the aggressiveness. If they don't, things are just going to get worse from here. Monster quarter for him. He's put the team on his back, trying to carry them to the W.
Electrifying, revolutionizing play that everyone else is trying to emulate. This was
Here's
the best
Vassell.
situation he could have
Looking at
gotten.
his stats, he's putting up about 7.5 per game.
But the cheap skater to his strengths.
Bryant with
Look at that
it. Walker
contract
picks
he
him
got
up
to say he wasn't
defensively.
worth it.
Jacks up with
No,
3.
they'll be here for a while.
Connects again from
The AFC West
distance.
probably won't like
Buries
it.
his 10th
Ron
triple of the
Scabbin knocking
game.
him out of relevance.
Unbelievable, PA. Unbelievable.
Gives us a chance to catch up with Allie LaForce.
Thanks, Brian. Jeremy Grant, the 39th pick back in 2014, has become a leader for the Pistons. He said, I'm enjoying it. I want to be a lot better, and I want to keep growing. I don't want to be stagnant. I just want to embrace the role and help the team get better from here.
Well, he's got all the tools to be a complete player, Allie.
Immediately
No
became one of
question.
the best scorers in football from the moment he was selected. A true shutdown option. And paid like it
Back to
too.
Collins.
Nothing
The
else
kick
that
out
needs
to
be
Richardson.
said. He's damn good at what he does.
Can they get it? The Pistons clear it. And going against San Antonio, their first meeting of the year.
They lost both games to this team last year. Don't know if anyone noticed, but both clubs were just so bad. They felt embarrassed. You know, those were games where you thought they could get a win. But now they need to forget about it. It's in the past. Let it go. They got to focus on the present and try to make a better run of it this time. And once more this half, they find a way to get great position inside.
Finally getting rid of the what's in.
Got it!
It's up to Sean so much that
And he's been dominant so far in this one.
Shouldering the offense. Really taking it to the opposition.
But the unintended consequences for the Texans have been honestly catastrophic. You got your quarterback.
Here's Johnson. He has 6.
Traffic hall is nice, but I'd rather have the franchise.
And it's in there. Johnson's got 8 points.
Not much resistance from the defense. Easy play that time for him.
To the inside. Here's Grant. Yes, sir. And it's Bryant picking up the assist. Bryant's got 4 assists in the game.
And so far, there's been tremendous cohesion offensively this quarter. And you know what? The frustration for the defense is mounting because it seems like they can't miss out there.
And here's Bryant outside. Grant, the pass to Bryant. Here's the 3. And again for 3. Ooh, you can tell he's feeling it right now.
The BA, he's on fire. Look back at the 2014 NBA draft. Some of the best players of that class were second-round picks, including Jeremy Grant. Becoming a premier two-way wing, Grant was a steal going 39th overall to Philly.
He's an NFL caliber player. While he's not
to the paint.
Changer by any means, he's still formidable. That's good enough for a defensive end in the league. I'll err on the side of optimism.
The Indianapolis Colts select Malik Hooker.
The football world would be more forgiving healthy for recent time. Unforgiving gods have robbed him of his full potential, thanks to a litany of long-term injuries. The result is being relegated to backup duty in Dallas and becoming another victim of football's bloodlust. Another nod to the bench.
The Baltimore Ravens select Marlon Humphrey.
Johnson and Purtle, the big men. Then there's Josh Richardson. Then there's Devin Cassell. And it's Jones in at the 1. That's who's in the game for the Spurs. The rebound by Stewart. Stewart's got 6 rebounds now in the game. Here's Bryant. Up and over Richardson.
Only hope he recovers well.
Kicks it out to Bryant.
That's easy, Baltimore. You got yourselves a chance.
Washington Redskins select
Back to Grant. Pass to Bryant. To the middle. Here's Stewart.
Formerly known as the
Yes, sir. And it's Bryant picking up the assist.
This continued when
Bryant's got assist number 5 here tonight.
And trust me, when the D's slow to react, he'll be the first guy to make them pay. Boy, the defense looks shell-shocked. I mean, they're on the ropes right now, on their heels.
You can tell without Jonathan Allen converted to the NFL level.
And here's Bryant outside. And yes, another basket.
Pitch that
70. He is unconscious. And here in the second half of play, we're just over a minute in. Jones misses. For Detroit, they've got 2 of 3 from the floor in this third quarter. It's stolen by Purtle. Back come the Spurs in transition.
Can't stay healthy. And his biggest flaw is prevented him from playing a full
There's the
season
block.
since 2018.
And that's out of bounds. It was last touched by Grant.
Steps onto the field. Seems to be a trend with this class.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select O.J. Howard.
There you go.
Tight end.
Johnson against Grant.
Only
Johnson
wonder what
passes
Howard
to
could have
Richardson.
accomplished if he were able to play regularly. Like many in this
Clock at
first round,
6.
O.J. keeps getting
Inside.
injured. Not to mention he was always got behind someone.
Spurs need to get one up here.
They keep going back to the same person expecting a different result. He hasn't scored the entire period.
Diallo gets the bucket.
And now, almost all their points coming from the paint.
Trying to find a spark here.
Yes, indeed. A rough stretch offensively. They could really use a basket.
If you were to talk to Broncos fans about Bulls a few seasons ago, you'd have thought he was going to be flung up a mountain.
Pass to Richardson.
On an offensive line that left a lot to be desired.
Purtle with a screen on Bay.
Stolen by Bryant. Like he was Big Milligan.
And the Pistons pushing it up now. And down it Jam, that was low.
They've been very well-rounded and extremely focused. Almost no holes in their performance tonight. They've been tremendous.
Sometimes you just need the right circumstance to help things play.
Grant against Richardson. Outside Johnson. Pirtle with a screen on Bay.
Biggest punishment that
It's Johnson with a drive.
was that he was drafted to Detroit.
Here's Pirtle.
After suffer through an organization
Touch off
that
the
best move was poorly
Pirtle's got 8 points.
Everyone
Pirtle
loses.
has
Davis was starting caliber in
on the
that
offensive
system, but
glass.
that's about
He
it.
just throws
Travel
himself
time be denied his
in the
fifth year
mix
option.
to
Go
come
to
up
the
with
Jets
those
for a
balls.
season and then come back to Detroit.
Rebounded by Johnson.
That is a rarity. When he takes flight, he usually hammers it home.
Jones' shot is good. Give him 8 points now.
This is why you put the
All
ball
you
in
need
his
to know about
hands.
Charles Harris was
Accurate
that he was
pass
traded after
hitting
3
a moving
seasons for a
target.
7th-round pick. He hasn't panned out whatsoever. The
stolen
has
by
not
Richardson.
translated onto the field, and he's bouncing around from team to team.
Jones' shot is good. Jones has got 4 points this quarter.
Well, he's an excellent defender. You look at Josh Richardson, he's got real good length, athleticism, quickness, and does a good job reading the opposition, too.
Stolen away. Nice job to interrupt the alley-oop attempt.
Don't let the random trouble appearance fool you. Ingram was a massive disappointment with the Giants.
Pass to
More
Jones.
often than not, there were many of us wondering if his hands were made of stone.
Outside Johnson.
Drops. Starting caliber,
Shot
but I
clock
wouldn't
at
say he's
6.
successful by any means.
Driving inside.
I'd worry he'd still be a Giant.
Here's
Jacksonville did
Jones.
pay him a bit this
Oh,
time.
and Bryant with the block. And they forced the shot clock violation.
Pistons ball.
He was a risky pick when he was taken thanks to the criminal
Pistons have
allegations
gone
he
4
was
of
facing,
6 from the
but
floor in this
nobody
third
will allege
quarter.
that he was any good at the professional level.
Bay outside.
Now he
Launches
had
a
to drive
3.
it up,
Yes, sir. And it's Bryant picking up the
desperate
assist.
for any sort of secondary help.
Bryant's got
Note
assist
that this
number
was
8
Bill
here
O'Brien,
already
who
in the
during
game.
His tenure was awful. He spent 2020 injured in 2021 out of football.
Now here's Jones.
Not
Covered
looking
by
hopeful for a
Bryant.
revival.
Pass to
Also
Pirtle.
known as the standard of football.
Now Johnson. Takes it inside.
No, I don't know any buzzers with it. I don't know.
Clock at 6.
He's definitely a buzz.
Picked by Pirtle.
Yeah,
Here's the sell. And there's the rejection. Basket counts.
There's actually good. Fucking, I usually test the film.
For Detroit, they've gotten 5 of 7 attempts in the third quarter. It's Bryant with a drop. Oh my goodness!
Disrespectful. Now, I know he makes it look easy, but it takes incredible physical tools to pull that off.
Athleticism and explosion.
Yes, indeed. Let's just call him ladder climber.
Then got shipped to the Giants in the infamous opening
Picked by
trade.
Pirtle.
He's starting caliber and an effective
And the dunk by Pirtle.
Hey, if you're gonna foul Pirtle,
finally breaks through.
whack him. Extremely good at finishing through contact.
And now we get a little perspective here on how the hustle game has been for the Pistons.
Contested shots and block shots. They're bread and butter defensively. They're giving up no easy looks. Another thing, they haven't missed a beat on the fast break in
Probably
either
given him
half
incredible
tonight.
superpowers to get to the quarterback.
Richardson goes in. Oh, and he blocks it off the glass. Wow.
Couldn't see the field consistently in Atlanta, then publicly demanded a trade and then his
On the wing,
release in
Bryant
2020.
covered by Pirtle.
It was a
Outside
blind.
for Grant.
Then his contract was quoted
Bryant,
by
the
a few
pass
of
to
the teams due to
Grant.
failing his physical.
Now here's
Any
Bryant.
other chances he's had have been undone by injury. I told you should
Pass
have
to
worn his
Bay.
grandmother's
Back to
clothes when he
Bryant.
played.
Just 5 to shoot. From the high post. And it's going to be a 24-second violation. They turn it
Bills were in
over.
serious turmoil in the 2017 draft. Rex Ryan era was an outright disaster, and Doug Whaley was merely a puppet for the incoming Sean
San Antonio has gone 0
Sean
for 2
was the
from
one
outside
calling
here
the
in the
shots.
third.
He made a direct hit with his first pick. White is
And
seen
here's
as one of
Pirtle.
the elite corners of the game.
Here's
Paid
Jones.
handsomely by Bills Mafia and feared for his
Some
shutdown
solid
ability.
defense from Diallo.
Only hope he recovers from his ACL tear.
Bryant, the pass to Bay.
Buffalo needs him.
There's the 3. Back to Bryant. With the drive. Shots blocked.
I think that Drew Pearson talked all that shit to Philly a day later, only to watch
Richardson
the
to
Cowboys
3.
overlook several
He
premium
drops it
talents
from
for their
range.
teammate.
Richardson's
He's
got
got
11.
Well, I love the
First name to be
size
cut from the
Richardson
team in
gives you
several
in the
years.
backcourt.
The
And
marriage
also
from
the
hell.
shooting.
Dallas
Another
hated
bucket.
Tucker when the
Wow.
feelings were mutual.
Oh, he's been absolutely
At least he's
ridiculous in
bounced
this
around
game.
as a backup.
BA, it feels like he can't
Relevance
miss.
Taco has
Pass
the
to
NFL
Pirtle.
on Tuesdays.
On the wing, Jones. Covered by Bryant. Back to Pirtle.
He's thinking Njoku was a lot more.
And the dunk by Pirtle.
Yeah, and I like guys when Pirtle gets into a groove and demands the ball. I mean, he's extremely dangerous when he has the hot handle.
And Bryant, here we go. Hits yet again. Wow. Oh, and there's 80 points.
Oh, wow. Just wow. This guy is on another level.
But consistency is a massive issue. He has a lot of very similarities to O.J. Howard and Evan Engram, if you think about it. You keep thinking,
on the wing,
this is the year David emerges as an elite tight end. But it never happens.
Picked by Pirtle.
He finally breaks out. How long did we keep waiting?
18 feet out. And Bryant pulls it down. Bryant's got his 6th rebound on the night. There's the drive. Yet another bucket. And there it is. 82 points.
This is a game that he will never forget. I won't.
I don't know, you guys.
Looking to end this cold spell. Jones misses.
Well, you know, stopping him is never easy to do, but the defense was strong there.
Ooh, got that one up quick.
Man, it's nice to see Grant work his jump shot. I mean, if the defense is going to give it to him, he doesn't have any issue taking it, and he should because he's a reliable shooter.
But was cut short due to an arrest for domestic violence in his second year.
Back to Jones.
His second domestic violence allegation.
And Bryant pulls it down.
He hasn't been able to find his touch this quarter. To me, it appears he's starting to lose his composure a little bit. We'll see if he can regroup and get back into a better rhythm.
Driving in, outside for Grant, for 3. That one's good. And the assist to Bryant. Bryant's got assist number 10 tonight with that last one. They need something good to happen here.
Yeah, they've gone way too long without a score.
Here's Jones. Well-timed pass, and he goes straight to the bucket for the layup. Jones has got 12 points.
One might have worked out.
Bryant with it. He's picked up by Pirtle. And here's Grant from the arc. The rebound by the Spurs. Richardson with it. 11 points in the game.
Kansas City changed their fortunes with one trade and one
pass
selection.
to Johnson from downtown.
They weren't the only winner. Once again, the New Orleans Saints had a generational draft in hindsight.
On the wing, Vassell.
Not only were Lattimore and Ramczyk excellent pieces, but there was Marcus Williams in the second
Johnson
round.
against Grant.
Alvin Kamara and Trey Hendrickson in the third.
Richardson for 3. Rebound Detroit. Bryant's got 8 rebounds in the game.
Managed to become NFL starters. This draft near single-handedly swung their closing window
from behind the arc.
I wish you could say it led to successes, but all it brought about was
spin off the left rim and in.
They're going old school out there now, working the mid-range part of the floor. They keep pulling up and watching them go down. It's a really nice thing to see. He's playing bigger than his listed height. He's doing work on that glass.
Oh, they pick off the pass.
Buda Baker is another major piece of this
to the ball, now guarded by Bryant.
The rest of the round is flush with solid role players. Not to mention
Richardson against Bay from deep. Johnson. Offensive rebound. Here's Richardson. No good with a layup. And the Pistons shooting 69%. I think they're even surprising themselves out there.
He's not the only one.
Garza. Yes, sir. And it's Bryant picking up the assist. Bryant's got assist number 11 for him here tonight.
Fourth Chicago Bear 12 despite the
Here's Jones.
First.
It's tipped.
Jackson and Tariq Cohen in this round. Brothers Simpson have become Jamal Williams
Diallo
and
left
Dietrich
side.
Wise were crucial selections.
And he lays it up and in. Diallo's got his 3rd basket of the night.
They are passing the ball around tremendously right now.
Aaron Jones was picked in this
Here's
round.
Johnson. Oh, and Johnson slams it in.
A bit undersized. His hops make him a legit small ball
Breaking, but there is starting caliber talent in Chuck
Bryant pass to Grant.
DJ Jones and Chase Williams.
Gets the 3 ball to go. Grant's got 8 points in the quarter.
In today's game, you can never afford to get beat in the 3-point battle. You know, the only way that's going to turn around defensively is by stopping the outside shot, not getting into a shootout. They're not going to out-shoot out this team. And they've won the battle on the board so far, and the scoreboard reflects that. Well, the effort level they've had has been outstanding. Hard to keep a team down when they play with that much energy. He's shaking the hoop. He's actually shaking the whole building.
Oh, what a slam. Look here, the fans going crazy right now.
Platinum level highlight reel material. That is Showtime stuff there.
That will only be revealed in time.
Bryant, the pass to Bay. Back to Bryant. Down low. Garza. Oh, rejected by Pirtle. And he's able to get it back. For 3, Diallo. Rebound San Antonio. Johnson's got 4 rebounds now. Shot clock and game clock separated by less than 6 seconds. And the dunk by Pirtle.
Strong performance from him, but he may need to do even more if they're going to win this game.
Bay, good.
This is what it's been since halftime. Remarkable results from downtown. Boy, it's been a three-point barrage. They came out gunning and have not stopped.
Grant with a steal.
Have you heard about this education
Garza.
stimulus program?
No
This
good on the
deposit up to
buzzer beater.
$6,000.
And so it's the Detroit Pistons.
Spurs 66.
Rich everybody. It's like a regimented unit. It is perfection, but there is horrible news of it. 2 out of 3 of these men will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. It's a horrible feeling. First bald patches, the 5 head, the thinning spots. It's something no one can fathom. You don't want to be bald, do you? Don't let it happen. Thanks to the revolutionary product from the sponsor of today's video, Keeps, they can ensure your hair is as rich and fruitful as the NFL is. Your way was to deal with the stuffiness of a doctor's office and a pharmacy line for such a product. Not anymore. With Keeps, you can get an appointment from a doctor online and get your hair's lifeline delivered directly to your home. I know what you're saying. How do you know this is fact? Well, better people than me have done the studies, and they show that Keeps is 90% effective at turning the tide of war against baldness. Many men even experience hair regrowth with Keeps. Don't take my word for it. Countless 5-star reviews and 100,000 men trusting their hair to Keeps should persuade you. Keeps can help you out for only $10 a month. And you can even get half off your first month's cost by going to Keeps.com/Utree. Nobody wants to be
cleaned
bald.
up right now.
Keeps agrees. That's why they're fighting this war with relentless tenacity. Join the fight
Outside
today.
Walker.
I know the popular thing is to immediately judge a draft class after
Well, the NBA has said we're in a transformational period. We have to earn viewers. Clark, moves like the play-in tournament looking to attract those viewers.
Well, you know what, B? I like the initiative the NBA has taken there. Clearly, you have to continue to create and innovate and adapt as a league. I think it's smart to try new things, and I think the play-in tournament added a level of excitement, not just with its newness, but with the competitive nature of those play-in games. So I think it's something that...
With the first pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Jared Goff.
Despite moving heaven and earth to the Titans for the right to select him, this pick was looking ugly as hell at first. If you saw Goff play as a rookie, you wondered how the hell this guy was the first overall pick. He couldn't throw a football. He was getting ruined by the
may
Rams.
find its way as part of the regular calendar going forward.
Setting the floor for Detroit. We've got Jackson. He's out there with Corey Joseph. And it's Olenek in at the 5. That one goes. Count it.
That's been typical of their performance today. They're sharing the ball and creating good shots. Really a prime example of the difference in how these teams have operated offensively. Much more individual play at the other end. Just a strong finish there, guys.
Hey, needed just one hand to do it.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Bryant finds Olenek. Yes, sir. And it's Bryant picking up the assist.
Terrific design and execution, leading to an opportunity to break the rim.
That guy's to the chip.
And I say, hey, if it keeps working, go to it. Stay with it. I mean, until the defense responds and provides more resistance, keep making them pay.
Incredible arms, steps out from the two, a series of injuries.
Bryant outside, into the lane.
Destroying whatever confidence he had, you get the drift. Like many of the balls he forced in the double coverage, once his luster has been tarnished
Takes the
by,
3.
well, that depends on who you ask.
The shot misses. And the Spurs going the other way now.
But others hate him more in Philly than Donovan McNabb.
Here's Primo.
And
the 3 off target. For Detroit, they've gotten half of their attempts to fall in the 4th. 2 for 4 now.
Chargers select
Here's
Joey
Livers.
Bosa.
3-pointer off the mark.
Every player goes through this. When your shots aren't going down, you can ding your confidence.
The offensive linemen stay eliminated.
Here's Primo. Oh, Lennox with some nice D.
Boy, you've really got to put those away, especially against soft interior defense.
Here's Bryant. And then
The Dallas
Bryant with
Cowboys
the dunk.
select
Filthy. I mean, just the arena is stunned.
He's got a deep bag of tricks to dig into.
Boy, I'd love to get a replay on that one. Let's keep it handy so we can see it again. Well, he's much better than that. Really no excuse for missing that lay-in.
Over to the wing.
Although Jerry doubling down on such an endeavor with a massive
Over 2.5 minutes in the books here in the fourth.
The offensive line decimated. Elliott has enjoyed his time in the
Another one
vomitorium,
goes.
but too much
Incredible.
considering his fumbling
90
habits.
points. A
Ford still a
legendary
strong selection.
performance.
We will be talking about this one for a long, long time. Hurdle with a screen on Jackson. Here's Primo.
And a premium return after the collapse of Saxonville.
Hurdle in the
And
post.
shattered the record
Working
for
on
greatest
Olenek.
contract ever signed by a cornerback.
Picked by
This one
Pirtle.
might have worked out.
Down to 5 on the shot clock.
The Baltimore Ravens select Ronnie Stanley.
It took a little bit of time, but Stanley emerged as one of the best blindside tackles in football in 2019. A sturdy force against pass rushers, Stanley was rewarded for his efforts with a massive contract extension this past year.
Wonderful. Hurdle's got 14 points here in the second half.
He's really carrying the load, but no man can do it all by himself.
And then Bryant with the dunk.
You live for nights
The
like
San
this
Francisco
when it's
49ers
all
select
working and the rim looks so
DeForest
huge.
Buckner.
The only reason why this guy's
Walker passes to Pirtle. Rebound by Olenek. Olenek's got his 7th rebound of the game with that last one. And here's Bryant outside. San Antonio with a rebound. It's Pirtle high post. That's good. Pirtle's got 6 here in the quarter.
Seems like he can't miss right now, guys. I mean, completely in the zone this quarter.
And here's Bryant outside, and the three-pointer goes.
Yeah, Joseph adept at finding his open teammates, and that's exactly what you want from your point guard.
The Titans are wishing they had conflict back and forth. Salary cap kind of
Pass to K-Cock. And he drops it in from the low post.
Good passing to set that up. Teamwork on display.
For years to come. Tennessee's backup playing for a bit.
Bryant outside. Lets the 3 fly.
The Chicago
Jackson
Bears
pass to Bryant.
select Leonard Floyd.
Takes a 3. And McDermott pulls it down. The Spurs have gotten 6 of their 13 shots to go.
Production had the Bears letting him go before he spit you up.
All right, here's a different question for you, partner. I'll be taking notes. Did you have a favorite city?
That's his first personal foul.
The New York Giants select Eli Apple.
Funny. Eli took as much of a shit on the field as he did when he was in the locker room. He's been bumping it back on draft day.
That's the
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Vernon Hargraves III.
On the team.
Hey everyone. What's up, AT?
So your shoe company said they're releasing a custom colorway for you this season. What does that mean to you?
Yo, what? This is crazy, AC, man. You grow up wearing these shoes and okay, we good? Thank you.
Being desperate for secondary help cuts their top draft pick several years earlier to improve it, that isn't a good sign. Now he gets the worst possible outcome imaginable for a cornerback. Toiling on the Houston Texans. Harsh indeed.
The New Orleans Saints select Sheldon Rankins.
I feel like Rankins started out hot and then tapered off. I don't know how much of it was due to the team he was on, but he's been a backup on the Saints for the last couple of years. Promising start has been wrecked by a series of injuries. Maybe he revives his career with the Jets. But so far, I hate to say it, but I have to call him a dud. Mediocre at best.
The Miami Dolphins select Laramie Tunsil.
This guy would have gone a lot higher than this if it weren't for a certain photograph that was leaked. The issues that were surrounding him at draft time were overblown. So much so that he only became a premium blindside blocker. He was acquired by the Texans, ironically, for a premium. You can laugh at the Texans all you want, but this guy was worth every bit of investment in it.
The Oakland Raiders select Carl Joseph.
Worst possible outcome for a secondary player.